Good evening, everyone. Great news. We have a very special guest on today's show. Grant Radicivich will be joining us at the 6 o'clock hour for the second half of the show. Most of you know Grant is a amazing athlete and great friend. He was on my Walton State lacrosse team and then went on to be a big part of the Clemson championship football team. A big topic today will be college basketball as we get ready for Duke and UNC Saturday night. So, Uncle Mike, great to be back with you. I saw I saw you last when I saw you last in person. What have you and Aunt Lori been up to lately? And tell me what's going on in the Roby household now. And great to hear back from you. And what have you guys been doing lately?
Yeah, great. Well, we had a wonderful visit with you last Saturday. Gracie went to the groomers today. So
Nice.
she's all pretty now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We took Winnie to the groomer too, and she is beautiful and fluffier than you think.
Yes, indeed. Yes. Other than that, we haven't been doing a whole lot. The same old, same old, same old. But that's okay. That's a good thing. Yeah.
That's what I like to hear. It's always great to have family looking out for one of you and watch out for one of you, and I think that's all what matters.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
All right, now let's get right to it before Blake Lumberger jumps in, including for our special guest. I'm Grant Radicivich. He'll be joining us shortly, but right now we're going to be talking about the Duke Carolina game. Now, whenever I think Duke Carolina or any other sports rivalry, I I think of the opposite of Red Sox Yankees, or a Real Madrid or Barcelona in soccer, Michigan, Ohio State in college football. Those rivalries just have bad blood and they don't even like each other. Because Mike, you follow baseball, you know all about this. Red Sox, Yankees, those teams hate each other, and
Yeah.
and a rivalry is really part. It's really the passion, and it's really part of the sport. And I think Duke Carolina is a perfect example of that. And I think that's rivalries in all sports really should be part of the game. And there's always going to be some like back and forth fights for one another, just for any team that you cheer for or what you're a fan of, and what team you really don't like the most, and what team you're more a fan of, and what team you root against. That's really what it should be all about. And I think that Duke Carolina will really tell us once again gets kicked off on Saturday night. But certainly it is a lot to look forward to. But yeah, I think this is going to be some kind of like a kind of close kind of game, and I think that Duke will have the advantage. And it's going to be a great game Saturday night.
Oh, I think so. It's always going to be tough to win in Duke.
Yeah, especially when you have those Cam and Crazy showing up, just being part of the atmosphere there. That makes it really special, and I think that's really a part of the atmosphere of what college basketball brings you.
Hmm. Indeed, I think it's be a good precursor to March Madness.
Yeah, that's going to be like a preview, and Joe Minardi and those bubbles out there, those in we're just about around the corner of the filling out of all of us filling out our brackets. And
Hmm.
yeah, it's going to be some kind of tournament once that time rolls around.
Yes, indeed. That's about what, maybe a week out before the ACC tournament starts up.
I think so. We're like less than a week away for that tournament to start, and I think the Big 12 and the ACC, SEC. I mean, those tournaments just really will mean a lot. I think they'll tell us what they're, and then I think once they're will tell us where the teams will be heading on Selection Sunday, which
Hmm.
the seedings and the geographical location of the city and turn of the seedings of the site's going to be played. And I think that whatever your team you cheer against and whatever you're like whatever and whatever your and whatever your team's fan reaction is, I think they'll tell us where the team might be seated and where your team might be headed. I think it's going to really going to really play a factor in how I think it's going to be turning out the way that your team or however you finish the season
Hmm.
is going to be just one of those things you'll have to keep your eye on
Yeah.
once we get into the to the actual NCAA tournament less than a week from now.
Yeah. Well, there's another team down there, a Wolfpack
Oh
in
yeah,
Raleigh.
NC State, yeah,
Yeah.
they're having a good year so far.
Yeah. That's always what I thought made the Research Triangle area so good.
Yeah,
You had those three teams, and then
it's
Wake
been but
Forest
it's
is
been
down there too.
it's been buzzing down here with the Carolina Hurricanes being hot and
Hmm.
yeah, I'm sorry, Mike, but they beat your Capitals twice and nothing that you can really do about it. But yeah,
Like,
the Research Triangle and the teams and the sports, I think it's really just it's really been really popular and buzzing
hmm.
around the area for how things have turned out so far. It's been awesome. I think they're all in for it.
Yeah. Well, the Capitals are in sell mode.
Yeah,
They're trying to trade themselves back into playoff contention.
yeah, they traded one of their
They
players last I checked, they actually traded one of their players away to the Bruins and the Avalanche last I checked. So yeah, they're just going to be giving up their future 2025-26 round draft picks. So I think the Capitals
hmm.
are going to be definitely in rebuild mode. I'm going to have to guess for those up 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 in the DC area.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, indeed.
All right, now let's move on now and talk about some your sport, baseball spring training. There were some there were some games being played in the afternoon during spring training while you're just finishing up your last minute work, whatever you were doing today. But yeah, let's get to some highlights right now and show you some scores of what things happened today in the in the world of baseball. So I can give you some scores right now. We start off with there are some games going on right now as we speak. So the middle of the fifth, we got the Royals. They're leading 6-4 over the Angels. The Cubs are up 6-0 over the Athletics. They are at the top of the ninth with 2 outs in that one. And then we got the Brewers and the Rangers 6-4 in that they're at the end of the sixth. And then the White Sox and the Rockies 6-4 right now. And that's for the games that happened earlier. And believe it or not, Mike, I mean, the pitch clock has really played a factor in all of spring training with the teams
Hmm.
finishing up in a tie. Well, your Nationals and Marlins finished up in a tie today, and I don't know how I feel about this like new rule taking effect with the pitch clock for how this league has impacting. So that's what I have to like. That's something that we're going to have to discuss all season long for this
Yeah.
upcoming MLB season with you, which I feel like I am all in for, and I'm sure and
It
I
certainly
think we
it
are.
hurt the Braves last weekend.
Yeah,
Automatic strike three
yeah.
against the Red Sox.
I don't know. I don't know about that. That's really. I mean, listen, it's only spring training, but those games don't even matter. But if you did that in a regular MLB game,
Or you do that in the
you may not
playoffs
even
come
like
October.
what are you going to have to go against into after that.
Yeah.
It's going to be a long, tough week ahead for the team in their clubhouse after going through all that. If this happened, but at least they'll learn from it and they'll figure something out.
Yeah. Well, they was reading where the Phillies young pitching arm, Painter, hit triple digits. I don't know if it was today or yesterday. I think it was yesterday. He hit triple digits on his fastball. He's the one I was telling you about that um, Kyle
Schwaba.
Schwaba was batting
Schwaba.
against him, and Painter, the young guy, threw a fastball at Schwaba, and Schwaba hit it way out of the park.
probably even way out, probably to he probably hit it like to another town or somewhere. Like
Yeah, it hit
he
the
probably hit it
road.
like in the middle of nowhere. Who knows? He may
Yeah,
not find that ball probably in probably ever in his lifetime. I would have to
yeah,
guess.
yeah. I hate to say it. I think the Phillies are going to, in the National League, going to be the team to reckon with.
Yeah, I think them and the Mets are going to be right there with them. And I think those teams in the NL East are probably going to be a
Yeah,
slugfest with them.
and I think the Padres are my favorite to take the NL West. They'll be crying in Dodger Town.
Yeah,
Dodgers just
those
lost
Dodgers
their
don't even want to hear what you're saying. Now you're predicting
what?
Tatis Jr. and Manny Machado
Yeah,
and those Padres guys are just really trying to build the big free for this club. And I think that
yeah.
I think what they're trying to do is try to build a world championship for this team, but it takes time. But I think they'll get one,
Mm-hmm.
but it may not be this season, but I think they'll get one eventually. But who
Yeah.
knows?
Well, the Dodgers' new shortstop just went out for the season. He tore an ACL in his right knee.
You hate to see that, and
Yeah.
you feel bad for him. And I think the Dodgers just didn't expect what they just didn't expect this to happen. But they had Trevor Bauer, and he's just been having some off the field issues this past
Mm-hmm.
few years, and the Dodgers just don't even seem to figure out what they're doing lately. But they better get
Yeah.
it addressed, or else they might be going out. They might be just having a long season to what they have to battle with.
Yeah. Yeah. Indeed. It'd be interesting. I think the Cubbies may have a decent team this year in the NL Central.
Yeah. In fact, they actually acquired Dansby Swanson from our Braves
Mm-hmm.
in the
Yeah.
offseason. I don't know if I told you that the last time, but
Yeah.
he has signed with the Braves, and he'll be playing with them this season. But as we all know, he could not reach an agreement, and the extension came at a price, and the organization and the ownership and the franchise for the GM for the Braves just did everything they could. It just came to it just become too expensive for him to pay for him there, and to re-sign him for a max contract deal. It They just couldn't get it done, and that's why he ended up being a Cub this season. So
Yeah.
he's moving on to bigger and better things. But I think he'll have a great season up there in Wrigley Field,
Yeah.
up there in the north side of town of Chi-Town.
Yeah. Well, the Braves have always had a great farm system. They're one of the teams that always had them, and the Cardinals have always had tremendous farm systems. So I think that's in the Braves plus column. So I think they'll do fine. But I think they'll come in second.
Yeah,
And I still
the
predict
Cardinals
the Mets will
are one of
come
those
in
teams.
third.
Yeah, the Cardinals are one of those teams that had success over the years, and they won a lot of World Series, and they just they just retired Albert Pujols last
Mm-hmm.
offseason, and now they're moving on to rebuilding the bigger and better things there over there in Cardinal land. And I think that I think the Cardinals just should be able to just find the right tools and the right pieces to
Yeah.
for what the players are player wise. I think they'll and I think if they get the right kind of teams to build on, then I think they'll be probably in a wild card spot for them for a future round of the playoffs. But yeah, the Cardinals should be a good team, but I think they'll be I think they won't be great, but I think they'll have a decent year for sure.
Yeah, they just played the Nationals a couple days ago. Patrick Corbin's first start, and Goldschmidt hit a home run, and then right after him, Arenado, first pitch, he hits it over the fence too. Both deep center field shots. So
Yeah,
yeah, the Cardinals are going to be good. They always are.
yeah. I mean, yeah, they're all, yeah, you're right. The Cardinals are always going to have success, and they're a dynasty, and those fans are loyal and passionate. And I mean, it's a baseball town there, and those fans are so into it, and they're good for a reason, like you said. And yeah, the Cardinals have a lot of history in the park and the team itself, and how they have their how the fans are into. And you're right,
Yeah.
the Cardinals are definitely one of the teams to beat. But yeah, you're right. The Cardinals are definitely probably one of the best ballparks in all of MLB, and yeah, their fans are definitely into it. No question about it.
Yeah. So I think a sleeper in American leagues might be the Orioles this year.
Really,
Yeah.
the other team up the road from you, where I feel like,
Yeah.
yeah, listen, any Orioles fan that we know would love to hear what we just said there. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I think they'll be just probably battling in the wild card spot. They definitely won't be winning the division. Let's see. I think them and the Red Sox. I don't know. I mean, they might be pretty
Yeah. I'm
good, but
not sure about the Red
I don't know.
Sox. I
I don't
think
know
the
I don't know if I like their
yeah.
chances or not.
Yeah. I think the Orioles will come in second.
Let's see. I think the Yankees will come at first. Let's see. I want to say the Red Sox finish in second, and then I want to say the Orioles are at third, and then the Rays in last place.
Yeah.
I predict. That's my prediction.
What about the Blue Jays?
The Blue Jays. Oh, you know what? I forget it. Yeah, the Toronto I think is going to be like in the third spot.
Yeah.
I'll say like the Orioles are. I want to say it's going to be a tied for fourth with the Orioles and the Rays. I think in that division
Yeah.
is how I'm going to be predicting for my selection. And
I would put the no offense to any Boston fans, but I think Boston will end up in fourth.
ouch,
I think
many of our Boston viewers on the show aren't going to like what you just said.
I know.
They're
I
not going to
know.
hear what you just said, because if they're listening, they are not going to hear what you're saying, because those fans are so passionate, and
Yeah.
they are not going to be happy for what you just said on your predictions.
Yeah. Well, I got Baltimore in second and Toronto in third.
Hmm. That's a
But
very
then
bold prediction right
yeah.
there.
Yeah. But everybody's in first place opening day. That's
Yeah,
what makes
that's
baseball
yeah,
so good.
yeah. Opening day is really one of those like special moments in all the sports calendar, really, not just in baseball, but pretty much in every sport. It becomes, yeah, it's marquee calendar of the event every year. So you're right. That's
And
what makes it
and
very special. And yeah, I think the
and then
Masters
I have 6 months of baseball.
yeah, yeah, get 6 months of baseball in the regular season, and then you get ready for postseason, and now you have to get ready for the offseason for move on to other sports. But then that happens every year. You go back to another 6 months, and now you're every single year. You opening day is a special event on the calendar every season.
Yeah.
And then you got it's also like the busier sports time calendar of the year too, because you got the Final Four that week, and then followed by the Masters. I think the Masters is like a week
Mm-hmm.
after the first week of opening day. So I feel like that's also that's also a special um event marking the counters. So yeah, I do feel like sports right around that time, right around that first or second week of April, is
Mm-hmm.
always going to be a busy time for us sports fans. So
Then you had the
what to think
first
about.
Saturday in May.
The Kentucky Derby. Oh yeah, that's right.
Run for the roses.
Run for the roses. And in fact, I think because Uncle Rob and I actually went down to the Tampa Downs. That did remind me about that too. But one year when we was living in Tampa, yeah, they're big in the horse racing. I think that and the Indy 500, and we just had the Daytona 500 because my grandma just is into that stuff because they used to do like NASCAR stuff back in the day because her grandfather back in the day like was into that kind of stuff. So they are just they're just average like racing fans, and I just that's what they always follow ever since their life. And but yes,
she grew up watching the Brickyard up there in Indianapolis.
I know. She's from there, and that's the sport that they always that's the sport they all that's the sport that she loves and follows. She never she never left it ever since, but she is always going to be probably going to be part of it probably in the rest of her life. I have to imagine.
Yeah. My grandfather was a car mechanic all his life, and every time I walk into a garage, just smell of oil and grease, and just brings back wonderful memories for me. So
oh yeah. I bet you had a good time working with them, fixing those cars and using all the different tools and getting right at those like equipment and just getting yourself out to work in those tough men, being like a tough pro. That's how I always like to say whenever it becomes a mechanic. And I think that's really what this really is about. Whenever you come like this tough guy, just getting ready to know the basics, and that's life for you, being a mechanic.
Yeah, he loved having the American cars. Hey, looks like we got your guest on.
We do. I think we
excellent.
Now let me introduce you to my next guest. He went to high school with me, and he played on the lacrosse team with me when we were in high school together, and he won a national championship at Clemson back in the 2016 season. And please, I want to please welcome none other than my friend from high school, Grant Radicivich. Grant, great to have you. Thanks for being part of the program. And this is my co-host, Mike Roby, and he and he is now let me give you a backstory on him. So he loves baseball, and he's always followed the sport probably ever since he was a kid. He's an average baseball fan, and I've known him probably as my family cousin. And but yeah, it's great to be with all of you. And thanks for coming on, and tell us what's happening with you as we start the show. Good evening, and how's life with you? And how tell us what's happening, and what's new? What's new with you, Grant?
Well, Jackson, thank you for having me on. I'm honored. Can you guys hear me okay? Give me a thumbs up there. I want to make sure we're good on this.
You're fine.
Awesome.
Yeah, we're all good here.
Excited to be on here. Awesome, man. Well, excited to be on here. Jackson, you're a very old friend of mine. I'm very pumped that, I could be a guest on this podcast. You guys do a lot of great coverage, and I'm an honor to be a part of it. Avid baseball fan for sure. Avid football fan, all around sports, Southeast, all of that stuff to put together definitely describes my tapestry. So yeah, excited to talk with you. Jackson, what is this Duke madness you have going on here?
Listen, we were just talking about Duke Carolina. I don't know if you just forgot, Grant, but Duke Carolina is this week, and it's going to be some epic matchup to watch. Because you're a former football player, you played in the college football rivalry, but nothing like this, because I'd give you a perfect example of like this. I discussed Uncle Mike with this. I think we were talking about this earlier, and I think it's the opposite of like Yankees, Red Sox, and baseball. You got, and then in college football, obviously you didn't play in one of those, but you did play in a college football rivalry during your time when you were at Clemson. But I think this is a comparison of Michigan and Ohio State in football a little bit. Maybe it has that sort of feel. I think so. I think it's perfect. So I think it has that. So I think it has that, and I think that sports rivalries have really make it more intense and crazy, and those fans are just get like so pumped up, and they're always just, no matter what team you cheer for. And I think that rivalry football or rivalry sports in general is really one of the most, probably the most intense game you'll ever play in. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, definitely. I mean, my year at Clemson and, my subsequent years at Mercer before that, like, anytime there was a rivalry game, we played Carolina, and, it really was a season in itself, is the way that Coach Sweeney described it. And I think that Duke Carolina is no different. They're really two historically really talented schools. This year they're not as hot as they usually are, but I think that nonetheless they're going to be the battle for Tobacco Road will be very, very intense. So I see you're a Duke. I mean, are you supporting Duke, Jackson, in this year, or what's your hot take there? Are you just, hey, we got to talk about it on the pod. I'm gonna rock my Duke hat.
Hey, listen, we got to talk about it on my sports podcast show. That's what I'm all in for. I mean, nothing against me of what I root for. I mean, listen, I have great medical care here, and the doctors are there. That's why I'm supporting this team. So, and my brother, of course, that's right, my brother. Nothing against me, but it's just it's just that I'm just an average fan. And I think that's what I'm really here for.
I love it. Well, I know your brother will be pumped that you're supporting his squad, and I'm excited to watch that game. So, well, I mean, Jackson, what's your prediction for the game? I mean, what do you feel is going to happen in the contest?
I mean, I think it's going to be like I don't think it's going to be up to 100 points. I think it's going to be like I'm going to guess it's going to be like a 80, like 9, or I think it's going to 83 win, I think, for this kind of game. I think it won't get up to 100s, but I mean, it might get up to 101. It won't be that kind of score, but I think it's going to be like a 96 to 90 like free kind of game. Duke will win it,
okay.
And I think Duke will sweep UNC, and I think they'll be get the win on the road, and they'll sign with the crowd at the Dean Smith Center in Chapel Hill, and those fans will the Duke Rebels will sign with the crowd at the Dean Smith Center for those students there, and I think that Duke will get it done. They'll come away there with a W, and Duke will win it, and they'll be traveling back, and Duke will be going home happy, and Duke wins, and they'll sweep the series, and Duke will be the winner in this game.
So you're saying Duke in the over?
Duke is. I have Duke. I have Duke in the over. I'm sticking with it, and they are going to be. They are going to be win this game no matter what. I'm going to be sticking with it, and Duke will be showing up with the victory.
Jackson Sportsbook, you heard it here first. Duke in the over. I love it. Oh man. So we only talking college basketball. What we got to get into a little bit of the combines this weekend. Jackson, you gonna be looking at any players? Hopefully for the Falcons or the Bucks. I saw you sent me a flag today that you were over at the Bucks place. So
yeah, that was actually from my other co-host. That was actually down there, Blake Lomberger. he actually sent me that photo, so it wasn't me, but he actually sent me that photo that he sent me. So that's what this really is, and we've had him on the show so many times because he is our co-host, but he's not joining us right now. But that's what it is, and I think that's where he's at right now. But I hope he joins us. But if not, he'll be listening and tuning in. But I hope he comes on soon. But yeah, that's just a great view of that Bucks training camp facility is what that is. But yeah, great view of what Lake Lumberger sent to us.
Yeah, I mean that's where we practiced for the national championship against Alabama in 2016. So in 2017. So we practiced at the Bucks facility. I saw that big flag. It's bigger than in person. I can tell you that. But yeah, we practiced there a couple days before that game. So I'm familiar with that little practice strip.
Oh, I bet you are.
That's cool.
Yeah. So, well, J-Dog, I mean, what are we looking at as far as any other college basketball games you'll be watching other than Duke and North Carolina this weekend, or are we going to be focused on maybe some baseball, spring baseball coming up? I mean, Braves are playing. They tied yesterday. Perhaps Atlanta United.
Oh, I forgot about that. Well, speaking of which, Uncle Mike actually, well, that's great because Atlanta United, I mean, yeah, listen, they're going to be hosting the World Cup back in the year 2026. That's like a long time for them to even be thinking about that. You're going to have to wait that long for that to happen. But the Atlanta United, yeah, they won the MLS Cup about a few years back, and they've got that done. I think, and you got to respect them for what they've accomplished. But yeah, Atlanta United checking out at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Yeah, it's a very nice stadium. There's nothing quite like going to a game there.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
What's been your favorite game you've been to so far there?
I mean, I haven't been there yet, but
you haven't been there? Okay.
I have not been. No, I have not been to the new stadium.
Okay.
You've seen the big falcon outside of the stadium.
I have, but I did see this outside of it though. But no, I did not go in the stadium. But I did see the outside of it, and when I've seen it, it looked like a giant spaceship on the ground. That's what it looked like. But no, I didn't go in. But that's what it looked like once I first saw it in person. But yeah, it's really nice. Really nice place.
You should see Soldier Field in Chicago. It's got the facade of the old stadium looks like from the 30s, the Art Deco. And then when they renovated it, it literally looks like a flying saucer landed on top of it. It's the weirdest thing. We had a annual meeting in Chicago. It was the first day of the Bears opening day for the Bears, and all the Bear fans are going through the convention center to get to Soldier Field. It was pretty funny. We had all these doctors all getting on their sessions and everything, and here's this horde of Bear fans just coming right on through. Anyway, it was fun.
I love it. Those Bear fans. Jack, you ever been to Chicago?
I have. The last time I was there, we actually went out to the World Series back in 2016. I went there with my brother because he went to Purdue at that time, and I've been there before. I've been there a couple of times, and I really saw the Beam there and the different sightseeing around there, and I got myself tried their Chicago dog and eat their pizza and did their tour, and we had a great time. A very nice place, and it's a very very nice big Midwestern kind of Great Lakes kind of city. So that's just that's basically what it is, and I think that but already writing that down on my bucket list, how I've already been there and I've done that, and yeah, very impressed. But yeah, Chicago was a very nice city, and nothing quite like a great visit for me for for any kind of Midwestern who really has seen it itself. But great place, and it certainly was a great visit up in the Great Midwest for us when we were up in Chi-Town. But yeah, great place.
Yeah, I've yet to visit, so it's got your glowing endorsement, and we got wild Bears fans, and I need to get up to the Soldier Field. It sounds like to see the Saucer, so
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to get in there and get my trip planned.
yeah. Go to Wrigleyville.
Yeah, would love that.
I mean, we were just talking about the Cubs earlier, with Mike, and we talked about this before you came on the show. That the former Brave Dansby Swanson has actually signed with the Cubs. So I feel like the Braves did everything they could, but they couldn't get it done. But they had no choice but he signed with the Cubs, and he's going to be playing in the north side of town, and that's what Uncle Mike and I were discussing earlier. And I want to know, and Grant, I want your take on it, and you tell me if that was the right decision, and they had no choice, or they did anything right, or you tell me if what they did, and tell me if they couldn't they think down, and what could have, and if the contract extension with the Braves, if that he would love back. But it's too late now. But he's talking with the Cubs, and you tell me what he could have done wrong, but he'll be going to be at the Cubs instead. So your thoughts?
I don't know what we could have done to keep him other than pay him more money, but I know he's I hope he returns as a Brave someday. I think that he had some awesome years here, and I think he came into his own as a player here, and I sure loved watching him because he was just dynamite playing second for the Braves. So or shortstop for the Braves. So I think I hope he enjoys his time. I hope he wins a little bit, not too much. But nothing the Braves could have done to keep him around. Just kind of a tough situation. If people got to do what they got to do whenever there's an opportunity for them to get a big old paycheck. So
Yeah. Well, the Cubbies got another stick. Cody Bellinger is going to be playing in the outfield for the Cubbies, so I think they're going to surprise some people.
Yeah, they got a lot. It sounds like it's a strong lineup coming.
Yeah.
Excited to see what happens with the Mets too. Everybody in the Braves division, I always take a look at, because they're coming to town at least a couple times before. So I got to pick out what games I want to go to.
Yeah, I think the problem with the Mets, I don't think Max is going to make it past up until September, and Verlander. I mean, they're paying a lot of money for two old arms.
Yeah. Hopefully they don't find too much magic. I want them to be okay, but not
I think there's
some.
I think they're going to spend $400 million on a roster to come in third place.
That'll be tough. We'll moneyball them here, and we'll win again. I'll take a Braves victory, Braves division again. But hopefully we can get out and get there.
I think one of the big the pizza boxes they got now for the bases. There's going to be a lot of steals.
I haven't seen them yet. I haven't checked out any footage yet, but I'm excited to take a look at how big they are compared to the other ones.
They're ginormous compared to the regular bases. They're now 18 inches across versus 15.
Wow.
Yeah. That's a big difference.
They make home plate bigger too?
No, home plate's the only thing that stayed the same size.
Okay.
And then they're not going to have the shift this year. The shift is illegal.
I'm excited about that. I'll be curious to see how teams adjust to that.
Mm-hmm. I think there'll be a lot more balls put in play, a lot more hits, a lot more steals.
Like that, like the points.
Yeah. It's and the pitch clock is going to be a faster game. You're not going to have these guys having to put their gloves back on after every swing. They're just not going to have time for that. And Juan Soto is going to have to learn a different shuttle.
Yeah. The last year I went to a game and it was 2 hours on the dot. It was incredible. It was 2 hours right through. The Braves were playing the A's, and it was unbelievable. I got there at 7:00 and I was home by 9:45, and it was door to door, unbelievable, like craziness. And then I went to a game the following week, and they were in the 8th inning at 10 p.m. and I'm like, man, what is going on here? So I'm all about a faster game. I'm all about getting the efficiency up.
Yeah, for sure. No, we go to a lot of games at Nationals Park, so I get to see all the NL East teams and some of the other teams. Oh,
good. I like it.
Yeah.
How are they? I mean, are you a Nationals fan? Is that your
I'm a homer. I was born and raised in the DC area, so that's you gotta be a homer. So I always tell people that bad baseball is better than no baseball.
That's true.
Yeah, when I was a kid, my grandfather always took me to Washington Senators, and then they left town, and then 2005, Washington finally got a baseball team back when the Expos became the Nationals, and I literally fell back in love with baseball.
Awesome. That's awesome. Always good to get a new team. It's like when we got Atlanta United, there was a lot of buzz and it was exciting. Like we're part of this. We were finally a part of something new, and like you can be at the ground floor because no one else is. No one else is a Nationals fan up to this point. So that's cool.
Yeah. I even was able to teach Jack's aunt, my wife, about baseball. It started out, she goes, well, he hit it. I said, I know, sweetheart, but the other guy caught it. The object is to hit the ball where the other guys ain't.
Yeah. They hit it where they're not.
Yeah. And so now she knows how to keep score.
Wow.
So my job is done. Yeah.
I love it.
I said, I'll go to the concession stand here, honey. You keep my scorebook, because I'll sit down and I always keep the score. Just have something to do, and then be able to refer back and see what's going on with the game. I think so. Talking about scores, they're going to have a new K in the scorebook. You got the regular face when struck out swinging, and a backwards K for looking. They're going to have one that's going to have to lie down for the automatic called strike.
I love it.
Yeah,
I'm excited. It's kind of fun to get new changes in the game. It's been the same for so long. Get a little bit of a fresh look and change it up. That's why I like watching the XFL. Kind of a new idea of how football should be played.
Yeah.
So excited for all the changes baseball's got coming. It's gonna be good.
Jack, have you seen any of the XFL games?
I did see one game, but I haven't watched any of it ever since. But I did watch. I did catch the opening day version of one against the against Arlington against the Vegas Vipers. I did see that one with the opening of the Rock Johnson of the introduction. I did see that one, and then then I saw the opening kick, and then what I like about it is that they had this command center, like players mic'd up, and then interviews after they score, and they what they do is they actually instead of a 2-point conversion, they do a 3-point try, and they come up with those rules that the NFL hasn't seen before and tried. So I think that this experiment is going to like really make things even more entertaining and fun to what the compared to what the NFL doesn't really offer you. So I feel like the rules of the XFL make it more like fan friendly and fun and entertaining. And I think that the XFL is really that for you. And I think that Rock and his partner really want to like put things in place of what he really likes to do there for the teams that he likes to do. And I think that obviously they were in bankruptcy the last time they played. They did not play through the entire season last time, but they're hoping that they get a full season in this time with the amount of money they have in their revenue. But hopefully they'll get their hopefully they'll get their season down this time. But I think they'll figure it out and get things done in the right place than they did last time around. But but
how is the XFL going to compete against the USFL? I mean, because the USFL is going to start
mid-April.
They start up in mid-April.
That's right, mid-April, April 15th to be exact.
Yeah.
Wow. I think they'll merge at some point.
Probably so. I just, they're both kind of minor league, for the NFL, which is a good thing, but they're both kind of competing with similar fan bases. I guess they're in different cities and all, but they got to be competing for the same broadcast dollars, which is where all the money is anyway.
I'm interested to see what they end up doing because, one of them they're playing later in the spring, or one of them is playing earlier. I think the argument's like, we want to play right after the Super Bowl. We want to play a couple weeks after. We can let baseball start and then be like, okay, it's dog days. We need football.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know.
It'll be interesting. I'm excited. I just love having some football to watch. This Saturday, if I'm not, big into basketball like Jack is, but if I got a little bit of football I can watch anytime, watch somebody from a university back in the day or anything like that. Like, always cool to see what they're up to and see if they're still any good.
Yeah. Yeah. Do they still play arena football?
I think they do. They don't televise it though. I think it's pretty local.
Okay.
Pretty local deal. Arena's pretty fun. If you've ever been to an arena match, it's unreal.
Yeah, no, I've never been. I saw it on years ago on TV, but I've never been to. It looked kind of cool. I did go to an indoor soccer game once. That was interesting. Where there's no out of bounds. The ball hits the hits the pad and it's still in bounds. That was pretty fun.
Yeah, the arena game. I went to one New Orleans Voodoo game, and they're now defunct. But they played at the Smoothie King Center, and we went in a summer when I was living in Louisiana, and I went to the game, and it was unbelievable. The team in San Antonio beat the team from New Orleans. I think the team from New Orleans lost the team from San Antonio, and San Antonio team had a guy who I watched growing up in Louisiana play football, Rohan Davey. He was a quarterback at LSU many, many years ago, like 2002, and he was playing for the San Antonio Talons. I was like, what? This is crazy. So got to get them play. It was cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, real quick. I know it. I know I gave you too much of your time, but I want to get a couple of topics real quick here. So, you want to talk about your experience at Clemson real quick? We don't have a lot of time, but I want to try to get to it. But Clemson's basketball team right now is they're at a they're currently a 13-6 with their record right now. Right now Pittsburgh is up 14-5 tied with Miami. Duke is tied with Clemson, followed by NC State and UNC. The NC State Wolfpacks. I mean, what's great about here in the Raleigh Triangle is that we got both Duke and UNC 8 miles apart. But I think what you're forgetting is NC State just down the road from here, and they're like this way. So you got Duke right here, UNC there, and you got NC State down here. So it's basically like a college town, like with 3 schools apart, which you don't see very often. Which is what makes this place, which is what makes the Triangle area very special. So I feel like you don't get this in every college town, but this one right here, it's very special.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Clemson basketball, they're coming on strong this year. So hopefully we can make a run and get in the tournament and do some good stuff. I'll be watching for sure for them once the madness starts.
Oh, I know you will. So real quick before we a couple things to get to before we get us out of here. So before we get to your Clemson experience, I do have the flashback because Uncle Mike, you where Uncle Mike lives, they are very popular because you and Grant and I we are former lacrosse teammates together in high school, and we Uncle Mike actually where he lives, they are very popular in lacrosse because geographically up in the East Coast where they are, they love their lacrosse, especially where Uncle Mike lives, and they have a very passion for it, and high schools up there are very popular, kind of like what me and Grant did back there in our time. And that's just all I gotta say. And I'm pretty sure Uncle Mike has probably seen a lot of lacrosse in his lifetime because he's from there and he grew up there, and I know he's heard of lacrosse because in these parts they love their lacrosse just like me and Grant did when we wanted, because we won the state championship back in high school in 2011 in our junior year, and we've been before, we've had that experience before, Grant, and well Uncle Mike because where he grew up at, they are passionate and they're huge in lacrosse. That's something I got to throw into, and that's pretty much what I got to say for the first part. If you want to get your reaction to that.
Yeah, I mean, I know the DC area, very, very, very DC, Maryland, everywhere up there, all the way up to Long Island into Canada. I mean, everywhere above, a lot of places where I've lived, like it's been very, very lacrosse heavy. So, when I got to play with you, Jackson, in Georgia, it was kind of unique and fun, and it was something I'd never even seen before, growing up. So I was excited to be a part of it, and we had a pretty good experience. I wasn't on that 11 team, if you remember. I took a break and didn't play that 1 year, but then I was back with you in 2012, our senior year. So we had a good run playing lacrosse together from 8th grade on. So really enjoyed that, and really enjoyed sitting at the lunch table with you before the matches and getting your take on what we were going to do that day to the team.
Hey, listen, I had great memories with you, and I'm sorry you didn't join my team that year. I'm sorry you didn't play that year. But we've always had your support with you, no matter what. But at least we had one of your friends like cheer them on for you, and the friends and your friends and my friends that I was part of during that time. We are still part of a team, and I think that the coaches and the players and the trainers that were part of me during our time, I had really enjoyed it, and and I couldn't really thank them enough. And they just, it's just a really special time and moment for me. And I just deserved it. And they just, it was just an incredible and special moment for me during my time in high school, and I'll probably remember this for the rest of my life.
Teammates for life.
For sure. For sure.
That's wonderful.
100%. Well, Jackson, you wanted me to talk a little bit about playing at Clemson?
Yes. Real quick before you get ourselves out of here, we got short on time. I want to talk about your Clemson experience real quick before we call ourselves today. So tell us about your experience at Clemson during your time, and tell me your experience on the team, and what was your favorite memory of being a part of a college football team, which I never get a chance to talk to former like freshman or college players. What are your favorite memories of you being on the Clemson football team roster?
Yeah. Well, I my journey starts down in Macon, and of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about my friends down in Macon who, I bled with for 4 years, starting the football program up from nothing to get it where it felt good, where I wanted to go play my last graduate year in front of my parents, because make them not travel as much up in Clemson. And so, and every summer I worked out with the Clemson football team, so I got to know them really, really well, and I got to spend a lot of time with those guys. And there was one August where I just didn't leave, and I just stayed, and so that was exciting. And I think like the one thing about that experience is just being able to be a teammate with some really great guys and great players and people I've been in weddings to and from and with, and I think it's just the bond you have with the guys, and you can literally go hang out with them and you hadn't seen them in 10 years and it's like no time has passed. I think that those kind of friendships, like our friendship, Jackson, is what's most valuable in those times. And yeah, I mean, we had a great year, and we had some awesome games. Got to play at Florida State, got to play up at Boston College, and got to play over in the Fiesta Bowl against Ohio State and beat the brakes off them, and then go down and play Bama in the national championship in Tampa. And obviously that's a moment that I share really heavily with my dad, because my dad was standing there next to me when we scored the winning touchdown, and it's a moment that I can close my eyes and get to any day. And so I think that whole experience, just playing with Coach Sweeney and just getting led by some really great men in that program, and in every facet, whether it be the the equipment room or the training room, every bit of that part is they're saying as best is the standard, and that's definitely the case. And so I wouldn't trade my journey for the world. I wouldn't trade my time at Mercer for the world. I think that I've grown and had some awesome friends, and they're lifelong friends. They're people who will be in your wedding, people who will be around forever. So I think that the biggest thing I can take away from all those experiences is just the people that you met, and the kind of games that you played in, and all the things that you got to do in the practices, and just all the time around, going to the movies on Friday night. My friend and I were reminiscing the other day about all the movies we went to before every game, and how we played. And I think it was funny, as I had a theory, there's a direct correlation of what kind of movie we watched before and then how we played the next day. And so I think that all those things combined, I was so fortunate that I got to do, have two sets of teammates, and be able to be a grad transfer and go into a place like Clemson and at least get on the field on the kickoff return team and play a little bit, and play a little bit on offense. So I think there's just a lot to be thankful for, and all that, that whole experience.
What's what sounds like you? Well, it sounds like to me you guys had a very special time in your college career, and I think you guys just had a perfect. Yeah, it sounds like you guys had a perfect perfect season and career of like making new friends and just being part of the program, students that you were part of on off the field, and how special place you're involved in. I just can't really thank you enough for that. And Uncle Mike, if I want to get your reaction, and you tell me about Grant's time at Clemson, and like if you'd like to share any thoughts before we get ourselves out here, feel free. Would love
Grant,
to hear it.
thank you for sharing that. That's a great, wonderful story. I mean, just having friends for life. I mean, that's the bonding. I think that's what it's all about. And thank you very much for sharing that. That's great.
Of course, anytime. And Jackson, if we when I expect to get another phone call, in the fall here to be on this show again, so we can do a little little college football. I still got some connections down in Miami with my dad. We'll get everybody's slate. We'll get some picks. I mean, look, I'm ready. All right, I'm ready. I'm excited. That again, like I do a podcast, but it's about music. So doing a podcast about sports, something I'm super passionate about. I'm always open and ready to come on. So I'll come on anytime you want.
Yeah, feel free. We love to have you back more often. But I hope your dad knows about the Dynamo Sports Show too. And I think he'll but I think he'll let us know. And I think he does.
Yeah, I'll let him know. I was on here. I'll send it to him whenever we get through it.
Yeah. Yeah, yes, and please tell him that we're on YouTube, so that I actually have my YouTube channel, and tell him that's called Good Guys Sports Show. Tell him to look it up, and I think he'll find it.
Love it. I love it. Ever the promoter. Good Guys Sports Show on YouTube. Check it out. Subscribe, like, and all the good things,
and comment all the great stuff. We'll definitely put our ratings to the top of the rankings and the next level stuff. Oh, it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be next level stuff, man. Oh, it's gonna be it's gonna be awesome.
Love it. I love it.
Great show, Jackson.
All right, Mike and Grant. Just great being with you, and we'll talk to you. I guess we'll talk to you soon. I hope this isn't the last time I have you on, Grant, but please come back more often. We'd love to have you back on.
Would love to. All right. You guys take care and have a good rest of your evening.
All righty. Thanks, Grant. Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
All right. All right, Jack.
All right, Mike.
Great show.
All right. You have a good rest of your night, and we'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good. Thank you. Bye
All
now.
right. Take care.